Okay, grind style calisthenics month 2, and this month what we're focusing on is full body workouts. I get this question a lot of how to do GSC with full body instead of split training. And it's kind of a bit of both because we have full body workouts, but we're separating your movement chains, push, pull, squat, and your support chains of flexion, extension, and lateral. This workout, the push-pull squat, is kind of the bread and butter of the movements that are going to be about building raw muscle and strength for the body. And then the other one that we'll do in the second video is going to be about kind of almost active recovery and stretching and mobilizing yourself out as we focus on flexion, extension, and lateral. So we get started here. Of course, we look at the workout log. All these PDFs of the log, the workout Bible, and the videos, they're all down below, free downloads and stuff. So we start off, of course, with the tension phase. Now, the tension phase for this, it says ISO loop, but I'm going to use the ISO trainer here from World Fit just because sometimes it's fun to use different toys and tools. So we start off with our ISO push-ups, about 90-degree bend in the elbows, straps are below the shoulders are packed, and I press and drive. Just like a bench press, holding for about 5 seconds, and release, just kind of shake out a little bit. I'm being mindful of what muscles I'm using during this. So it's like, okay, is a shoulder hunching up? Is my left pectoral working more than my right? What about my triceps? What about my shoulders? I want the whole chain to be lit up, and I'm keeping everything in tight. It's not up here. Everything's close in and tight for good reason, as I'll show you during the strength phase. So here we have for the push. Now we have pull. Love the ISO trainer from World Fit, one of the most efficient pieces of isometric equipment we can use. And now we're going to the other side. Really focusing on the lats. You can use different hand positions. I recommend just changing things up, making the flavor of the exercise a little bit different, and play around, of course, with the length of the trainer, where your hands are. There's no wrong way to do this. As long as you're engaging the muscles and lighting them up during the tension phase, you're getting the job done. Because we don't base our training on numbers and a special formula, we just base it off of can we get the objective of all 4 phases. I'm going to get that one more time here, neutral grip. Very, very satisfying. And then I'm going to go for the lunges. And Stephanie, if you bring the camera down low, this is easier to see floor level. By the way, everybody, yes, Stefan, my good friend, he's cameraman extraordinaire. Say hi to the people, Stefan. Very good. Unfortunately, we don't have a mirror where he can show himself off. So the iso lunge. I like doing isometric lunges for the simple reason that it's easier to make them harder. When we use one leg at a time, it's really easy to drive. It doesn't take a whole lot of force in my hands to work the mother living hell out of that leg. If I used a squat, you know, although the ability to hold the arms up and stuff, that gets a lot more difficult. So I just make it easier to work harder. And that's probably one of the overriding themes of grind style calisthenics. We want to make it as easy as possible to work the muscle extremely hard. And down. One more time here. Keeping the strap more to the back of my arch. If it's towards the ball of my foot, I'm going to be lifting up on the front of the foot. And good. Okay, tension phase. Done. Shift work now for the stability phase. Shifting push-ups on the straps, rows, and squats. So I have my grind straps over here. Custom work from Nosk. We'll go with the rows first. And I'm just here. And I'm just kind of back and forth, feeling the shoulders stabilize one side at a time. Shoulders moving, a lot of scapular motion and stability. Rotation up here as well. And shifting back and forth. You don't need a lot of resistance for stability work. You just need to feel like you're in control with different positions. Back and forth. Then we'll come down. We'll do the same with push-ups. And just back, rotating. Good mobility stuff for the shoulders as well. Forward and back. Out, out. Rotating, making sure my pelvis is stable. And again, this is about doing what's necessary to get the job done. You don't have an effective workout because you do something a certain number of times, like how many sets should I do and all that. You get an effective workout by how well you can do the objective of the workout. So it's kind of like, don't shoot the basketball 17 times. Shoot it however many times you need to get 15 baskets or 20 points or whatever. Shifting squats, always one of my favorites. I'm always pushing my hip to the side. So when I go to the side here, my hip goes out, the knee goes in. Now it's not in relative to the foot. The knee is always over the toes, but since the foot comes to the center line, the knee needs to come in. And I know a lot of people are like, that's not good. Trust me, it's good. It's very good. That's how I fixed my knees after struggling with knee pain for about 20 some odd years. Just back and forth. All right, feeling pretty good. Moving on to the strength phase. So we have archer rows, archer push-ups, and lateral squats. And the archer rows and push-ups I'm going to do on my straps. And the lateral squats I'm going to use with a medicine ball. Now remember, this is strength phase. We're not trying to burn out the muscle. We're trying to work it to a high degree of capacity. So that's what these straps give you the ability to do much more easily. Because the more upright you are, the easier it is. So you can adjust the resistance accordingly. And one arm is assistance. One arm is the primary driver. So I load my right side up and drive. And this is why we wanted those arms in tight during the tension phase. Because to do this adequately, we want things in tight. Straps are set at anchor points that are roughly shoulder width apart. Shoulders are down. And I'm trying to really load my pressing arm. So my outrigged arm has about 10%, 20% of my weight. You don't want to try to keep it 50-50. This is not a press combined with a chest flop. This is primarily just the press. Let's go a little heavier. There we go. Good. First set, very good to satisfy and alternate. I recommend alternating, partially because we're not trying to burn it out. So it's perfectly fine if the muscle gets a short little break in between each one while we're alternating. Because we're not trying to exhaust the muscle, we're just trying to work it to a high degree of tension. All right. Down a little further. Working hard. Ooh, that's satisfying. That feels good. That is a fun way to work things. Whew. Now, ideally, I would have a heavier weight than this, 10-pound medicine ball for my lateral squats, but, well, I forgot it at home, probably a 25-pound plate. And remember that when you are doing progressive leg work, the further you reach out, the harder it is, or easier it is, excuse me. The more it comes here, the harder it is. So you can adjust that way. See again the knee coming in and the hip going out. Helps to counterbalance a bit. Trying to stay upright, I'm not bending over. Perfectly fine for the back to round on this. That whole keep the back flat, that works with heavy loads on the body, particularly a barbell on your back. But outside of that, you don't need to keep your back flat. Very good. Now for some of you, these moves are going to be lighter than others. And that's perfectly fine. You don't need the grind style program to be the same level of intensity from one month to the next. It's a good thing if it kind of undulates a little bit. It's like, oh, this month felt harder than the other one, or easier, or whatever. Perfectly fine. As long as you're still just getting the general stimuli that you want for each phase, it's going to work. So glutes are tight. It's a lot stronger than when I did this last year for this program. I was like up here last year. Now I'm down here and feeling so much more confident in my shoulders to handle the load as well. Now I'm also trying to be mindful. I'm not letting my elbow wing out. Yes, there's rotation, but I don't want this. I want to feel like a punch. You don't throw a punch like that straight in. So you're trying to stay in line. Which makes the chest work so much harder. Okay. And back up the rows. Make sure they're level. It's one of the things I love about these NOSC straps. When you have the adjusters with the handle, it's really easy to know their level. You know, like a set of rings where you have a loop, you're like, adjust, where are we at, adjust. That's why you want to get ones with numbers notched onto it or something. But if you have a setup like these where the adjusters are on the handles, it's much easier. Harder still. Come on, we need more strength. Breathe. Good. And again, not going to failure. that was a pretty good amount of effort, but not even close to failure. Here we go again. Oh yeah, getting much deeper. So since I don't have much weight, this is almost more of a mobility exercise for me today, which is fine. I'm driving up, and that's also requiring a lot more strength in the muscles. Closer in. Oh, that feels good. Ooh. Booyah. Ooh, stay. This floor has a slant to it. That's why I do it facing that way. Because if I face the other way, it gets a lot harder real quick. A lot of rest in the strength phase. I'm going pretty fast just because I don't want the video too long. Remember, I do these uncut. They're not edited, so you can kind of see how I would do it. But, truth be told, probably would have a little more rest in between sets, because with the strength phase, you want to be not as fresh as possible, but pretty fresh. When you do each exercise, you want to feel like you can put a lot of tension in the muscle. If you're like, bend over, catching your breath, okay, here I go, here I am. No, you're just not going to be able to create a lot of tension in the muscle under those conditions. Sure, it's good for conditioning, cardio, mental floss, and all that, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to make the muscle stronger. End of story. So anything that compromises your ability to contract the muscle harder is effectively robbing you of the ability to get stronger. Interference, in other words. That doesn't mean other things shouldn't be done. By all means do it, but do it in a way that doesn't interfere with your ability to contract the muscle extremely hard. That's why we have the tension phase, and the stability phase is the warm-up, because you can only engage a muscle to the degree you can contract it. You can only be as strong as you are stable. So we put those in first to ensure my muscles have as good a connection and stability as possible. So when I do this strength phase, I can get as much out of it as I can in that current situation. All right, one more for good measure. 3 is often a good number to go with. Oh, what the hell? Let's make this sucker hard. Let's bite off a little more than we can chew. Why not? You gotta be aggressive with strength training. You need to make it go to the high levels. See the shaking? A little less stability on that side. Come on, bastard. There you have it, that side. That's the one that I injured years ago. And it's a lot better than it used to be. But apparently still not quite 100%. And that's fine. It doesn't need to be 100%. It just needs to be better. All right, rows. Let's get all the way down, shall we? Yes. It's a little high, but I'll take it. Final one here. I always like my medicine balls pre-chalked. Good grip. Oh yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. Almost fell back there. Range is strength. The deeper you go, the more strength you need to get out of the hole. That's why every gym has a ton of half, and I used to be one. That's a squat, right? No, that's a cry for help. Although technically, yes, it is a squat. One more. Ooh, good progress. Much better than last time. Okay, and the finisher. Push-ups, rows, and jump lunges. Cool. So now we change it. Let's elevate ourselves. I want this to be really hard. So people are like, so what if the strength phase wasn't really that hard? And I go, I just can't really push it that hard as far as burning up the muscle. Not a problem. You just make the hypertrophy phase harder. You're gonna burn it out either way. You're just kind of going about it a different way. But how you do it isn't really nearly as important as just the fact that you do it at all. All right, straight leg this time. Drop set. Ooh, very satisfying. And there's a lot of ways you could drop set. You can go with shorter range of motion, you know, so you're here to here to even to here. Perfectly fine, because range requires strength. If you don't have that much strength for that range, that's okay. Less range is just like, you're just putting less demand on the muscle. It's that simple. All right, and push-ups. Mentally ready. Almost lost it. Back a little too far. Okay, good. So was it to failure? Not at all. Failure is a very subjective thing. In 20 years, of my own training, I could say I've gone to true 100% all-out effort only twice. And once I recover from it, I'll do it again. But most of the time, it's other things. Give out your mind, just emotions. But as long as you're burning out something, you're getting that job done. Oh, let's go. 30 seconds. Well said. Oh, there we go. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, last minute call there. Well said. Because I started to subconsciously pace myself on the jump lunges, and I realized that for whatever reason, I didn't have the juice mentally to push my legs hard enough to really exhaust them sufficiently from the jump lunges. I was just kind of getting into a rhythm. So, make the call. I was like, yeah, that's not going to get the job done. So, that's why I went right into that. Is that part of the program officially? No. But so what? Be creative. Have fun with these workouts. They're supposed to be a template and nothing more. It's not to do it by the book. It's instead a general program, and then you modify it however you like in order to get the job done. So I'll see you on video number 2 for the flexion, extension, and lateral chains. See you then. Be fit, live free.